What's going on, Midland, Texas? Welcome to episode 118, season 7 of Talking Throws Podcast, Texas Style. I'm Coach Jason.
And I'm Coach
And we are throws coaches with the track club, the Throwing Factory. You can go to that website, thethrowingfactory.com, and check out our bios. I remind everybody on that site, you're going to see information for online training, video analysis. Also, you're going to see we're partnering with Michelle Gregovich, a sports kind of psychologist, so to speak, that can really help your athletes maybe kind of get over the hump mentally with some stuff they might be dealing with. And that just doesn't have to be kind of like failure. It could just be, learning how to compete better or approach stuff a different way, maybe in your warm-ups or something like that. So she's a jack of all trades when it's dealing with that sort of thing. So you can find her website at the bottom of our throwingfactory.com website as well. And then also too, you can find a link for fourthrows.com and then Fiber Sports as well. Just be sure to check out our shopping page as well. We have pretty cool apparel on there. So some of it's even being discounted. So if you find something on discount that's basically your size and it'll look cool or attract you, please go purchase that. We'd like to thank our sponsors for Season 7, Texas Track and Field Coaches Association, led by Stuart Cantor. That website is ttfca.org. For everything you need to know in track and field, that's the site. I'm sure he's already starting to plan the winter clinic for next year. I'm sure he's getting ready for, summer meets and posting all that. Also, the Meet of Champions is coming up, I think, at the middle of May. And there's a link on the site for registration on that. So if you meet the qualifying standards, go enter that. But also, too, he does have javelin, and that's open. So if you're a young javelin thrower looking for your first meet that's not going to be, very highly competitive, that might be a good opener for you of the Meet of Champions at Texas State University in San Marcos. Fourthrows.com. Quality implements price right. Use the code TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off. Anything you need throwing wise, shoes, swivels for hammers, handles, hammer bags, portable discus nets, whatever you need, fourthrows.com will take care of you. Also, Ready Up Athletic Development, ran by Zach Phillips in the greater Austin area. You can go to his site, readyupad.com, but also he's putting together a throwing program called Basic Throw Strength that's on a different site called Train Heroic. Use the code THROWS10 to get 20% off, and that's going to take your athlete, that multi-sport athlete, that volleyball player, that basketball player who's looking to get into throwing. It's a really good program to take care of. Fiber Sports Discus, so welcome to a new way to get the distance. That's ran by Bruce Caldwell. His cell is 817-819-1472. If you just want to have questions about discus from other discus, call Bruce. He is a jack of all trades when it comes to implements. So he's even got some stuff going on with indoor shot puts and outdoor shot puts. He also sells pole vaults as well. So if you have any questions along those lines, reach out to Bruce at 817-819-1472. NTX Timing, let them do the work while your coaches your athletes, committed to excellence, and it's just ain't waiting on us. So they was going to post live results. They're going to do the heat sheets, anything you need to run the meet and get those results posted and get on the website so those kids could possibly be recruited. Let Carl Hornbeck run that for you. ntxtiming.com is the site. Remind everybody about Big Frogs. Also lifting DFW, mobile lifting station. We can bring that to you at a park, a driveway, a school, whatever you need, and get some Olympic lifting on as well. Also remind everybody about the podcast on all major platforms, but also to our YouTube channel as well. Oh yes, and then we also have other coaches as well. Casey Keeter, who's running north at the Throwing Factory now. He's in the greater Wichita Falls area. Coach Jarvis running east at the Throwing Factory. He's in the greater Mesquite area. And then Morgan Knight running Knight Power and Performance out of the Abilene area. So whether it's hammer, javelin, shot, or disc, maybe online, maybe you're a junior high kid just trying to figure if this is the sport for you, those coaches could possibly help you out. So today's guest currently is throwing for the University of Oklahoma. Just this past indoor season, she claimed her first All-American status at the NCAA Indoors Championships in Boston. In 2023, she was an NCAA Outdoor West Prelim Qualifier in the shot put and the discus. She has an outdoor PR in the discus of 57.06 that was just basically set maybe 2-3 weeks ago in Fort Worth. She has a shot put PR of 16.88 that was just set at Texas Relays. In 2020, she graduated from Midland High School. Her high school PRs were 47.6 in the shot put and 162.6 in the discus. Her junior year, she claimed both the shot put and discus titles for Class 6A coming out of the state of Texas. Please welcome to episode 118, Miss Paige Low. Just trying to get the angle, so because this is going to be on ABC News. So.
Oh gosh!
Well, we're interviewing Paige Low. This is a big deal. So, the Texas high school legend.
We are so excited to have you on. So go back a little bit to the very first time you picked up an implement. When was it? Were you avoiding running on the track like most of the other people we interview? They're like, they're running, they're not, I'm going over there type thing, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so pretty much I started throwing my 7th grade year. So I was in middle school, and it really was just kind of an off-season sport. My main sport was basketball at the time and volleyball as well. And it was just kind of something that, we're not in basketball season, we're not in volleyball season, so let's go throw. And so they were like, well, you look strong. Like, let's try throwing the shot put. Let's try throwing the discus. And my mom threw a little bit of discus in high school as well. So she kind of had a little bit of background and knowledge of that, but really it was just something that was an off-season sport. And so, around 7th or 8th grade, I kind of started throwing, and I was doing other track events as well. Like, I'd run the relays. I did some high jump. High jump and relays was pretty much it. And then throwing, of course. But it wasn't really until my freshman year of high school that I really started to take throwing seriously. But 7th and 8th grade year is kind of the first time I picked up a shot put and discus. So,
how would you describe your technique as a 7th grader compared to were you already doing the rotation as a 7th grader?
No, so I actually started gliding first with shot put, and yes, and also with discus I couldn't really remember, honestly, like what I was doing, but my mom found a video of me throwing from around like 7th or 8th grade, and I did the shuffle. So I did like I would wind it up, swing back a million times to get some power, and then do a little shuffle and just chunk it. So I started gliding in the shot and doing the little shuffle in the disc. So come a long way since then.
Yeah. Do you remember the marks? Like,
I'm not sure about shot put, but I know in the discus, I was close to 100 feet.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, ma'am.
Oh,
so,
wow. That wind up helped.
Yeah, it did. It must have. So, I think I started doing the full spin a little bit towards my 8th grade year, but I definitely started with the little shuffle thing. So,
awesome. Now, you mentioned your mother was a high school thrower. Was your dad a college athlete? I think you have brothers and sisters as well.
Yes. So both of my parents actually played college basketball. So my dad played at Lubbock Christian University, and he played a little bit at UTA, University of Texas at Arlington.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And then my mom played 2 years at Midland College. And so they actually met at like a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which is kind of crazy. But so they were both college
How old
athletes.
are your parents?
They're like almost 50.
Okay. Because I played at South Plains Junior College and Midland, if I remember right. Is that a junior college? Is that?
Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am.
Would she have been in college in 91, 92, 92, 93? If so, I played against your mom.
Really? She might have been, honestly.
I graduated in high school in 91, so I was at South Plains Junior College 91, 92, and then the 92, 93 season.
Yeah.
Midland was someone that was always, I remember playing a game in Midland back then. So anyway,
really?
Random.
Yes. Small world. That's crazy. I bet. I mean, there's a
tape somewhere we can go find it.
There's a really good chance y'all played each other. I'll have to get some game film somewhere. So
that's funny. So your parents met at a 3-on-3 like pickup basketball tournament? Really?
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so
Yeah.
now, did they grow up in the Midland area?
So yes, my dad actually went to Lee, which is where I graduated from. It's called Legacy now, but
Yeah.
Midland Lee. He actually went to high school there, and then my mom is from Meadow, Texas, which is like 30 minutes outside of Lubbock. So both kind of have been around West Texas their whole lives. We went and moved to Aledo, Texas. I was in like pre-K, kindergarten age, but then
Really?
we moved back to Midland when I started first grade. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That could have changed your throwing career big time.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah. So
The path could have been way different.
it really could have. It really could
That's
have.
interesting. So, okay, so
Siblings.
you're doing shuffle, and shuffling the glide your 7th, 8th grade year. Are you kind of picking up on the fact that, okay, I'm really liking this, I'm good at this, but you're still having that passion for basketball?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think that I was naturally just better at the discus. I think it came more naturally to me. Shot put was kind of just, that other throwing event that, well, I'm doing discus, let's do shot put too. But I definitely loved basketball. And I think a lot of that had to do with both my parents playing basketball and all of my siblings as well. Like we all played basketball. And it's crazy now because none of us are playing basketball in college, but we're all playing a college sport. So I have a twin brother who goes to Texas Tech, and he plays football there. And then I have a younger sister who's 2 years younger than me, and she's at UTSA and she plays soccer there. And then I have a younger brother who's 4 years younger, so he's a senior in high school this year, and he's going to play football at ACU next year. So
Your parents are busy.
yeah, definitely.
So is your brother the senior? Is he throwing?
He's not, no. But honestly, we try to get him into it because he has like a really good build for it, and he's pretty tall. So, I think he gave it a shot maybe once or twice, but he just really wasn't into it. So he was like, I'm gonna stick with football, and so.
So is the holidays around your house during the holidays, are they like competitive? Do y'all like fight at board games, or does it automatically pick up 3-on-3 and all that type of stuff in their driveway?
Yes, I mean we cannot play Monopoly. Monopoly is off limits because that has gone really bad sometimes. And so, yeah, we're super competitive. We have like a little ping pong table at our house. So we'll play ping pong and pool and stuff like that. But it's just really, yeah, we're all really competitive. So it keeps it fun. It keeps it interesting. But
That's awesome.
board games are kind of, we try to stay away from those. So
You owe me $200. You took my boardwalk.
yeah, no, seriously. So.
For sure. So, all right, getting back to you, your freshman year, you start high school. Like I asked, track has seemed to be kind of, looking at your numbers, were solid for a freshman. How would you assess that your freshman year?
Yeah, I guess, like I said, my freshman year, I saw it as something that, like if I take this seriously, I think I can be really good at it. And
Really?
so
Okay.
I didn't really have much coaching up to that point, honestly, because the coach that coached me in high school, mainly Coach Maldonado, who's at Lee now, he wasn't really there at that time, or I don't know. There were some coaching changes going on, and so he came over when we got the new head football coach. So originally it was Coach Morton. I mean, not Coach. Wait, was it? I don't know. I think it was Coach Morton, who is Barron's. He's the quarterback at Texas Tech now, but anyways, his dad was the head coach at Lee, and then they moved over somewhere, and then Coach Hartman came in, and then he brought his coaching staff, and so Coach Mal was in that mix as well, and so he took over the throwing kind of, because I guess if you're not the head coach for football, they make everyone pick up another sport, and so he was over track, and so he came in, I think towards the end of my freshman year, and started coaching me up. But yeah, my freshman year was kind of just like mainly getting help from my mom and kind of just whoever was there at the time. I don't know, like it was just like get out there and throw far. So but really didn't know much. I mean, started watching a little bit of videos and stuff like that, but
Now,
Yeah.
Coach Maldonado, who what I would maybe consider, and I might be pronouncing his name wrong, might be the best high school throws coach in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And for what he's done there and for the people that he's produced, and that's I said earlier jokingly, if you would have stayed at Alito and not went to Midland Lee and not crossed paths with Coach,
Yeah.
because he was the one that influenced you to maybe switch from the glide to rotation in the shot put. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So when he came in, he like, I mean, like you said, my throwing career would honestly not be anywhere it is like where it is today if it wasn't for him just coming in and like seeing something in me and going over to the throws, because he was really just over the whole track team, and so not specifically the throws, but
Okay.
he saw me and knew that like there was something there, and so he was very intentional about coming over and trying to help me and coach me up. But yeah, like we started in the glide and he was little by little teaching me different aspects of the spin, and we would do it every day, and he would build up my confidence. And like towards the end of practice, he would say, okay, you get like 3 throws. You can either glide or you can spin. And like, whatever you want to do, let's just throw as far as you can, like a competition. And I didn't realize it at the time, but he told me later on that he did that. So it left it up to me, and like it built my confidence in the spin. So he knew that whenever I chose, oh, I'm going to spin these last throws, like I was ready to do that in a meet. And so he kind of like opened that door for me in that way. So, but yeah, he taught me so much about the spin. And it was funny too, because he really didn't know much about throwing either when he came in, but I was progressing as he was teaching me different stuff. So he was watching videos, I was watching videos, and he was really learning as much as I was like while I was. So he would just teach me something that he'd watched like the day before on a video, and we'd try it out and it would work. And he'd be like, okay, well, what's the next thing? And just try to kind of,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Really?
So he was learning as like as
Go
we
ahead,
were.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying like he was just kind of learning as we were going. Same with me. So
Yeah. So you were like the little experiment guinea pig with everything going on and stuff like that.
yes, pretty much. And
Well,
it worked. So
Oh, for
yeah, it
sure.
worked. So
Well, and she's sitting there thinking that I'm sitting there going, Leah Costa and the 2 girls he has now and some of the
yeah.
boys and stuff that he's
Mhm.
produced in probably the last 5 years, since
Mhm.
you've been gone has been very impressive.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see. I mean, I feel like it's grown a lot just in like the DFW area. Obviously, with your club and everything that y'all have been doing is great. But I feel like in West Texas, it wasn't always like a big thing. And I had that great year, and it was like, wow, this is awesome. And then it just like people like flocked to Coach Mel, and like my mom, she was like, oh my gosh, there's like 20, 30 kids like after school trying to get coached by Coach Mel just after that great junior season. And obviously my senior year, COVID and all that we didn't get a senior year. But yeah, like if you just look at everyone that's been through there, like Leah and Balaji and Pam, the girls that are there now, and Cade, who's going to Mizzou, it's really awesome just to see how much it's grown just by him alone, really. I mean, so it's really exciting.
Do you still talk to those former, league graduates, alumni, that's part of that throws group, even though they're at LSU and, about to go off to other places?
Yeah, definitely. I have a really good relationship with Leah Acosta. Her dad was actually my high school basketball coach. So, yeah, I really connected with their family. And so I actually just texted her the other day. I need to call her, but it's busy and crazy. But yeah, I'm really great friends with her. And then I ran into Coach Mel and the other Lee throwers at Texas Relays this past weekend, the 2 girls. And so it's hard just with the age gap. Like I wasn't there when they came in, and so I don't know them super well, but I definitely try to keep up with the throws group and all that going on at Lee. And so I would say, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to decide.
That's it. They're texting you right now.
Yeah, seriously. No, but yeah, I definitely try to keep up with the Lee throwers, and with Coach Mal as well. Like he's just like one of the greatest people ever, and someone that I just adore. And so I just like our relationship is really strong, and I still talk to him a lot. So
Awesome. Yeah. I have a quick question. So I'm looking at your profile on athletic.net, and you also did some high jump your freshman year. Do you remember your PR in high jump?
I think it was it 5'2"?
Oh, okay. Well, it might have been this. This has 410, but we'll go.
Oh, no, that's probably right. I think I'm overestimating myself.
This is 5'2". 5'2" sounds way better.
So
Yeah.
So were you the Flopsbury flop and kicked your heels up and got your hip over the bar, or
Yeah, I feel like I had some good technique. Like, I mean, but I don't even know. I just was like, let's just jump and get over the bar. It doesn't matter how it looks as long as that bar stays on.
He's clear to the ball.
gotcha? Do you remember your PR in discus your freshman year?
Oh, of high school?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh,
Long time.
maybe like 120, 115.
122.4
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started out at 93.
At
So
regionals.
that's a pretty good jump.
Yeah.
3 feet to
Regionals.
122.
And getting into your sophomore year after working with him, I don't know if you ever reflected and looked back at your numbers, but like your freshman year in the shot put, you were 32.8, like your PR 122, and then your sophomore year 44 feet in shot put,
Mhm.
and then you went to 123 your sophomore year in discus, but even your
Mhm.
junior year
That was huge.
162.6.
Yes.
Quite a
Yeah.
jump in 1 year.
Yeah, I remember that jump just looking at the like numbers because I was like, wow, this is a really big jump. So it really took off my junior year. Things just kind of started to come together. And so it was just a good
Now
year.
with him being a football coach and stuff, were you like during volleyball season when basketball wasn't going on, were you throwing on your own, or would you send videos and he would assessment during, when he had 2 seconds to breathe?
Yeah, well, I mean, like he was there all the time, like as much as he could be.
Okay.
So it's kind of like since basketball and football are kind of in the same season, I would really just do basketball. Like I wouldn't throw much. We started to transition to throwing more like my senior year after my junior year went so well and everything. But really like during basketball season, I would just do basketball and we would do a little bit of throwing here and there, but he would prioritize football, I prioritize basketball. And then when it was time for track season, we would go into that. But really we got a lot of our work in the summer. And so it was a grind in the summer. I remember we would throw. So we had a strength and conditioning camp, which was for all sports. Like we would do weightlifting, we would do agility, speed training, stuff like that in the summer from like 8 to 10 every day. I think it was like 4 or 5 days out of the week. But before that we would throw. And so I would be there at like 6:45 and we'd throw from 6:45 till the start of SAC camp. We call it SAC camp, until 8. And then we would have that from 8 to 10. And then sometimes we would have open gym for basketball after that. But then we started throwing after that too, like going into my senior year. So we would throw before SAC, we would have 2 hours of this like grueling, like running and just lifting. And then we would go again and throw after that too. And then do basketball on the side too. So it was a lot, but we got a lot of good work in the summer.
Were you still playing volleyball at this time too?
No. So I actually stopped playing volleyball after my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
So,
I knew you played for okay.
Yes.
Wow. And he was just kind of doing this because you were out there grinding and hustling, and he just was out there to guide and kind of mentor you as through all this.
Yes. He was there. He was like, if you're willing to put in the work, like I'm going to be there. I'll be there as early as you want, as late as you want. Like we're going to find a time to get the work in. And so, yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about that junior year. You won state in shot put. You won 6A state in the discus, 45-11 shot put, 158-3, in discus. At that time, maybe your sophomore year, you was kind of maybe below the radar, but then all of a sudden now people, like you said, were coming to what's going on in West Texas. And the little side note, the one thing I remember about you, and I'm going to ask where it's at, is that yellow bow that you always wore in your hair, at every meet. Okay,
yeah.
What happened to that?
Yeah, I know. I stopped wearing it. I don't know why, but really, so the inspiration for that was, so my junior year, at the beginning of the year, I lost a really close teammate and friend who also threw with me and played basketball with me. Her name was Essence. And so it's actually a huge part of my testimony too, just like as a believer. But I just really had a hard time with that. But I also found so much joy in putting my why behind like why I'm throwing and why I'm playing basketball. It was like, okay, well, I'm going to do everything I can to dedicate this season to Essence and her memory. And I just want to make her proud. And she was just like, just the biggest encourager. And she was always so excited about my success. Like she was just, I don't know, she was like a hype woman. So I was just like, let's just dedicate this season towards her and let's just do everything we can to make it as far as we can. Cause I had made it to regionals in both events up to that point, like in the previous years, but I'd never made it out of regionals. And so I was like, well, let's shoot for state this year. Like that's something I've never even been able to make it to. So let's just do that. And so, yeah, just getting to go through that year and progress, I really think was honestly an act of God. Like, because if you look at my numbers, it's something that's kind of unheard of, like in the disc and the shot, just the progressions that I was able to make. So I just credit that so much to like the Lord and my faith, because I think that without that, that's who I am. And that's ultimately that's where every ability and talent that I have is given from. And so I'm just super thankful for the opportunity. And so, yeah, my junior year was just awesome in that sense. And I was just really thankful to be able to have something just to do in honor of her memory. Just because it had been something that affected really our whole school, because she was just like that person that everyone knew and everyone loved. And so it really just affected a lot of people in a hard way, but to be able to do that in her memory was just really special.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Oh.
I'll always remember you're the girl with the yellow bow. Who's the girl with the yellow bow?
Yes. And I meant to say that was like her favorite color. And so
Okay.
Gotcha. That was where the inspiration from the yellow
Awesome.
ribbon came
Awesome.
from. So.
I'm curious about that, your technical approach to your throwing your junior year. If y'all were kind of putting stuff together and pieces to the puzzle, is there a certain cue that y'all had kind of that he would tell you, or you would kind of just, run back and forth in your brain to maybe set up the throw a little bit better or something different? Because I saw you throw from your freshman year on, and there was a vast difference in what you were doing maybe technically your junior year versus maybe your sophomore year.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to like think back that
then, okay.
far, but honestly, just one thing that comes to mind was just like get your hips through it. Like I remember him being so like just get your hips through the finish, and I think it was just also building confidence in the movement itself. Like it wasn't necessarily like the best or most defined or refined movement, but I was confident in it, and I think I was strong enough and powerful enough that he gave me that cue of get your hips through and just get through the ball and like send it. And so that was really the cue that I think.
Oh wow. And it's funny that a simple cue like that would work.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Nee now has simple cues that he uses with you now, but it's just amazing little something like that, because we had a gentleman on and he had a cue with his coach, and it was Oreo. And it was talking about being rotational and kind of being rotation like you were holding an Oreo.
Okay.
And so then part of that was the separation as well, by taking the top off, to feel the separation. And just any little cue you have, sometimes when you're out there grinding, you bounce it off each other and it just kind of sticks and works.
Yeah,
for sure. So
whatever works.
Cool. Yeah.
Oreos or whatever.
So were you starting to get? I'm sure after that state meet in that Mark, you were starting to get a lot of looks. Now, were you deciding between basketball college or throwing in college?
Yeah, I think that playing basketball in college was always something that I kind of just thought I would do, just because it was. I mean, I was a pretty good basketball player. Like it was something that kind of came naturally as well. But that was just. I always thought that that's what I would do. But yeah, my junior year it took off, and I started getting all kinds of like calls and attention from all these different schools who weren't even ever on my radar. And I was like, well, if going and throwing somewhere is something that I can do at a bigger school, and like if I can get a scholarship there, then that's something I'd love to do. And so it wasn't ever something that really crossed my mind, or necessarily something that I wanted to do from the start, from when I got started throwing. It was just kind of something that like God opened the doors for. So
if you don't mind me asking, I know you're at Oklahoma and you definitely chose it. What were your other 4 visits? Can you mind sharing?
Yeah, so I took a visit obviously here. I took a visit to LSU, Texas Tech, and Baylor. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Oh wow. So you had a good lay of the land in those choices.
Yeah, I did. It was hard because I'm a big Texas girl. I'm a big family girl. So I was really back and forth between OU and Tech. And just because I have a lot of family in Lubbock as well, and my brother's there, and both of my parents went to Tech after they played basketball. And so I have a lot of ties to that school as well. But I was just drawn to OU. And I think that one of the biggest reasons I chose OU was because of the people and the culture of the throws program. I originally wasn't recruited by Nino. So Allison and Colin Beavers, who are at Michigan now, recruited me here originally. And I have nothing but love and respect for them. Like, they're great people. They're awesome. But I think that they did a great job of really cultivating the culture of family within the throws program. And that's something that I was really drawn to. And obviously, like, they had great throwers as well. And I was drawn to that, and the school itself, and just the grit of the training and the program. And so, I think it worked out, but it was a hard decision. So it was just, I remember that time being recruited, there was just so much going on, and you're trying to talk to this coach, and you're on this visit, and they're like, okay, well, are you going to come? Like, let me know. And so it can be kind of overwhelming, but it was just such a special and cool experience that I definitely didn't take for granted. So,
yeah. Now, I don't remember, did you decide to go to OU before your senior year?
No. So I took
Okay.
those visits towards, it was the very beginning of my senior year.
Okay.
And so, yeah, after that junior season, I started talking to a lot of coaches in the summer leading up to my senior year. And so I was taking those visits in the fall, and then kind of made my decision, I think early fall or late fall.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. And so
And
getting,
COVID.
Senior COVID year as well. And also too, important part of things happened was your injury as well.
mhm.
You don't have to go in great detail about it, but you got injured, and that kind of affected your throwing for your senior year. Am I right on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll share. I don't mind
Okay,
sharing.
go ahead. I didn't want to step on toes or
Yeah.
bring back bad memories or anything.
Yeah, no. So it was actually crazy because I had already signed to OU at that time. Like, I did I guess it's NLI, National Letter of Intent. So I had already signed, and I was looking forward to a great basketball season. It was my senior year. Like, I wanted to be MVP of the district. Like, I had all these goals I wanted to attain, and it started off really great. But we were at a preseason basketball tournament in San Antonio, and we were playing. And, I got a fast break. Someone passed me the ball, and I went in for a power layup, and some girl came in on the other side of me and ended up going up. My knee just could not take it. And so immediately I knew something was wrong. And so, yeah, I tore my ACL and my medial meniscus. And so I went and had surgery in Lubbock a little after that. And so it was crazy just because of COVID and everything. But really, my season for track and basketball was over before it really even started, before COVID and everything too as well. And obviously that changed a lot of things for a lot of people, but it was something that was really hard. But honestly, I was like, well, I'm kind of thankful for this, because I think if I was perfectly healthy and I was told that I couldn't have a season due to COVID, that would have been a lot harder than knowing that I was injured and I couldn't have had a season and say that way. So, I mean, that might be a kind of weird way to look at it, but it was kind of I was kind of thankful for that in a way.
Was there ever a thought maybe to rehab? Because let's be real, you could have went instead throw and win shot put, or maybe even discus at district. Was there even a thought to maybe even go out there to do that, or be back by that district season in late April, maybe?
Honestly, no. It really wasn't there. And just because both of my parents have also had knee issues, it's just, yeah. And so they know a lot about that too. And my mom's a physical therapist, and so she just had seen a lot of ACLs, and we've done they did research and stuff too. And you don't want to return too early, because the risk of re-injury is way higher if you do that. And especially with a meniscus too, we just had to give it more time. I was on crutches, non-weight bearing, for 6 weeks. And so just with that, it wasn't really something that was feasible at the time. And so we were just kind of looking at it as okay, well, let's just get ready, and let's get you physically ready, mentally ready, just for your first year of college. And so we kind of just had to close that door, and it was pretty heartbreaking. Like, it was not something that was easy, but it's just how it is sometimes. So
Did you? I'm asking. Did you journal or kind of write down like sayings, positive affirmations during that time to kind of get you through? I'm just curious if you're that type of person that does that stuff.
Not really journaling so
Okay.
much. I definitely grew in my faith a lot during that time, just
Okay.
because it was something that was really hard. And I think a big part of my story as well as in my faith journey is just not finding my identity in my sport as well. And so I think that when I was brought to a place of, oh, now you don't have the option, you can't play, you have to sit on the sidelines and you have to watch everyone else. It's like, how can I learn how to be the best teammate that I can be, but also not find my identity in my sport or my performance? Because I think for a long time I was putting my identity in my sport, just because I was getting praised for, oh my gosh, state champion, you're a great basketball player, like you're the best. And so when that was taken away, I really had to take a step back and realize that this is not who you are. Like, this is just something you do, and you're so much more than that. And so I think I really found my value, my worth in my faith and in the Lord. And so, yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Great response. So you have that situation, you go to OU your freshman year, are you redshirted your first year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure OU Medical took over the rehab and all that type of stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah, we redshirted more just on a from a medical standpoint. I was almost to the point of being released, but just not yet. And so by the time I was released, it was like December of my freshman year, and they were about to get started with indoor season, and I hadn't thrown in like a year at that point. And so it was like, well, let's just redshirt this year, let's kind of get our bearings, let's work our way, ease back into it. And so that was the decision that was made for that year.
So when did you actually like even pick up the shot or discus, at the end of that rehab? Like, how long was it? Like, was it 12 months that you haven't thrown?
Yeah, well, so my mom was gonna get kind of mad, but if she sees this, but
we can cut it out.
No, I remember because I was in the process of doing my rehab, but I wanted to throw. And so it started off like I was sitting in a chair, I'm sitting in a chair now, but I was sitting in a chair just like this, and I would just sit at the front of the ring and I would just put it in my neck and just do like, I would just do some releases just to feel it. I was like, I need something. And same with the discus. But you can only do so much in a chair, and I was just itching. I was like, oh, I need more. And so I got a little risky, and I was standing just straight up, and I was doing the same thing. But my mom found out I was doing that, and she had a breakdown. She was like, you cannot be doing this. And I mean, I fully understand now. Like, it was just from a protection standpoint, and she didn't want me to make it worse or injure myself again. But so that was like right after I started doing rehab.
Okay.
But so I mean, like, I can't really tell you the exact timeline of when I got back into my full throw, but we were incorporating different throwing type movements in my rehab, and like, the rotational kind of stuff on my knee and just little things like that. But it was probably like I don't even know, maybe like 9 or 10 months till I was able to do like a full throw, or even a year almost. Cause we did a pretty extensive therapy. Like, we wanted to just make sure that we were waiting and that everything was fully healed. So we maximized the time that I was in my rehab. So.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm kind of curious, as someone of your stature and your faith, and a leader in the throwing world, what advice would you give maybe some young throwers who's maybe not, had that complex of an injury, but something were a setback that's maybe kind of changed their path of going to play volleyball in college, or maybe sprinting in college? What advice would you give the young girls maybe that are listening?
Oh man, it's hard to give advice on something like this and not bring in my faith, just because like that's just something that's really impacted me. So I would just say, like, know that, I mean, I kind of said it earlier, but it's know that your sport is something that you do. It's not who you are. Because whether good or bad, it's really easy to place your worth in, oh, like, I'm doing great, like I'm on top of the world. But then on the other hand, it's like when you're not doing as well, it's like, man, I'm worthless. This isn't worth anything. And so I think that also those kind of setbacks really just give you perspective on like what is important. And so I think that yeah, just like find your identity in the Lord. Like, I don't know how else to say it other than that, because it's given me so much peace, and it's made it so much fun too, because I think that I remember just going into the state meet and meets that have a lot of pressure. I just took a moment and said, like, good or bad, whether I win first place, whether I come in dead last, like, I know that God loves me the same, and his love for me isn't dependent on my performance. It's not anything that I do, but it's who he is. And so that just it takes the pressure off and it makes it fun. And so I would just say, like, find that and just learn how to make it fun, because I feel like when you put so much pressure on yourself and it becomes something that you dread, it doesn't go well for anyone. So yeah.
Great answer. Great answer. Great advice. So you get through your rehab. Now, when does Nee now come in and the coaching change happen? Are you still at the end of that rehab? Is that when that coaching change happens?
So no, so he came in like the beginning of my sophomore year. And so I was completely cleared by then, but we were kind of just getting started, like, back throwing. And so there was just a lot of, it was kind of like a blank slate, honestly, because I hadn't thrown in a while, and he was a new coach coming in, and he was like, okay, well, we're kind of just gonna like start over, so forget everything and let's just start new. So I was cleared at that point, but he came in, and it was right before we started indoor season. But that was my first year competing, so there was a lot going on. It was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of kind of confusion, and but at the same time, it was like, well, I don't really have an option. Like, we're here and he's here and this is my season, so we're just going to make the most of it. And so I just kind of dove in. I was like, I'm just going to trust him, trust his word, which is hard to do, because it's like, this is a guy that didn't recruit me originally, and who knows if he even like wants me to be here, which he does. But at the time, it's like I don't really know like what he's about, and so we did like research on him and stuff, but it's hard. So, but yeah, he came in like
UCLA.
So he came in right before indoor season. We just got started, and so yeah. But,
oh wow! What was your first impression of him? I'm curious, because he's kind of
yeah, he's a big, like, I can just describe him as like a STEM guy. Like, he's very smart. He's very, very smart, and he knows a lot about a lot of things. And he loves throwing, which, like, as he should. But
the first time did you meet him, did he have his iPad hooked?
Yes, yep. He's got the iPad. He's got it going. But honestly, I loved that, and I still love it, because I feel like I don't always do well as like, I mean, I need to see my throw. Like, I need you to show me what you're talking about and show me like what I need to do different, because sometimes I just can't make the adjustment just based on hearing it. And so, but yeah, my first impression of him was I was really excited. He seemed like he had really good energy, and he was really excited to be here, and just obviously a big family man. He said that a big reason why he came to OU was for his family and just wanting to really like place their roots here. And so I was just really excited about him, like, as a person too, in addition to a coach, because it really seemed like he cared a lot about his athletes and he wanted to get to know us. And so, I mean, the time was limited, obviously, since it was just such a short time from when he got here and when we started the indoor season. But he was doing everything he could to get to know us and like just build trust with us as well, because he knew, I mean, it's hard on him, but it was also hard on us. And so we had that bond and that connection too. So, but really was liked him. So
that's awesome. I was looking at your results, like your redshirt freshman year, you know, and that change and all that type of stuff. Even when you came out of your rehab, I want to say you didn't like, there was a little bit of drop, but your numbers were still up there.
Yeah, I think I was, it was kind of like, because when I first started throwing, I threw at a few meets just kind of unattached, just to kind of get going. But yeah, honestly, my freshman year, I think I was like, well, let's just go for it. And I mean, yeah. And so, there's like really no pressure as my first year competing, and I didn't really know, I was just kind of getting familiar with competition in like college and just at this level with Nino. And so I don't know. I think I was just honestly really having fun. And like I said, I really enjoyed the group of people that I was around. And I think like I credit a lot of that to Lauren Jones. Like she's one of my best friends and still is. And I still talk to her all the time. But I think she just made it so fun and just enjoyable. And so I think my numbers like are proof of that I was just like enjoying it. And maybe again, not necessarily like having maybe not the technique or the strength necessarily with my knee, but just getting out there and having fun. So
yeah. It kind of walk us through what is y'all's normal week like for practice, like Monday through Friday. Like, so let's say before you went to Texas Relays, kind of what was the prep work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday?
So we'll throw 5 days a week in season or out of season. So when we're in off season, we'll throw 5 days a week, and I'll rotate shot and disc. So I'll usually go shot put discus, and then Friday we'll do like a little bit of both. And then we'll lift 4 days of the week in the off season, and then and it's pretty heavy volume, and because we're trying to get strong, and so the fall is a bit of a grind. But when we're in season, we'll usually lift like, if we have a meet that week, we'll lift. It kind of depends, like it varies per the person. But we'll lift like 3 days a week, and it'll be more poppy and lightweight, kind of just trying to get some movement going. Right now, we don't really like peak until conference, until like postseason as well. And so we just we're kind of training through right now. And so we're still doing a little bit of heavy lifting. And so our bodies are a little tired and we're not like as crisp in the movements, but all the parts are still there. It's just we're not super fresh. And so we'll kind of do the lift like that.
So are you a big weight room person?
The Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. Coaches education through our annual winter clinic, the state's #1 track and field clinic. Texas Track and Field promotion, our postseason Meet of Champions, lobbying efforts with the state's governing bodies, the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame. If it involves Texas Track and Field, we're at the forefront. Join our mission in continuing to make Texas Track and Field the nation's best.
I am.
Are you?
Yes, I love the weight room. And honestly, I think I've always been like a very hard worker and very disciplined in that aspect. But I think this past year is something that I really prioritize the weight room. And just this past summer, I stayed like pretty much the whole summer and just really trained and tried to get as strong as I could. And so I think one of my teammates now, her name's Cassidy Gallagher. She's a hammer thrower, but she's just like a meathead when it comes to the weight room and throwing. And so I think that she like really made me develop like a passion for that as well. And so it's honestly not like, it's most of the times it's not fun, but like we make it fun. And I think that the group and the culture, like we just, we crank up the music and we all scream for each other and we cheer for each other. And so it just makes the environment makes it a lot more fun and a lot more doable, because at the end of the day, like there's no getting around putting in the work. Like you have to put in the work, and it's going to be hard and it's going to hurt, but you got to do it. And so just having those people around me has been so helpful for that.
Wow.
So
wow. I have to ask, what are you cleaning?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, we haven't maxed out in a while, but we didn't really like test our maxes for the Olympic lifts this year. Like we used to like last year, but we really like haven't maxed out. I don't know. It's not like the best, honestly. I'm not like super strong, but yeah.
Well, and that's the reason I was kind of curious, because curious because some people have this mindset that you have to be burly, meathead, strong to throw far.
Yeah.
But
no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly I think for being like a shot putter, like at a Power 5 school, I'm honestly not super strong compared to like some other throwers per se. And so I don't think necessarily that you have to be like squatting like 600 pounds and like benching like 300, just like crazy numbers.
I like the voice admiration.
Yeah, like, because it's like, I don't know, that's how it is. But yeah, I don't think that, I think that there definitely is a baseline level strength that you should have and need to have at this level, just like for everyone, just to be able to take that next step from high school to college. And I think that I definitely did see my strength levels go up when I was transitioning from high school to college, because I think that one of the biggest parts was due to the strength training, because I hadn't really ever done a strength program that was tailored specifically towards throwing and that specific kind of movement and the explosiveness and the power that we generate in the throw. But it was more just kind of general strength and kind of just what the football guys were doing. Cause like my coach Maldonado is a football coach. And so it's like, okay, just hop in with the guys, get strong. But so like, I was still like generally strong, but I think when I prioritized that going into college, it really helped me a lot. But all that to say, I don't think that you have to be super insanely strong. I think that there's a balance between, of course, like having a baseline level of strength, but also just like being able to move and like be athletic and have like explosiveness. So
yeah. For sure. Question?
I was going to ask you, did you ever pick up a hammer and try to throw the hammer?
No, I didn't. So no. I mean, like I've swung it around like a few times in practice just for fun, but no, never really like done that. So
just curious.
Yeah. No, when's the last time you picked up a basketball?
Oh, did I play this summer? I don't think, I might have. No, I haven't played pickup just because I know if I play, I'm going all out. Like I can't just like get in there and take a couple of shots. Like I'm going to get in there and I'm going to get physical. So I've been pretty careful about that. I mean, I've gone and shot some hoops just at our gym on campus, just like for fun, but nothing serious. I mean, yeah, it's probably been about a year or so, but I still love basketball though. So
yeah, well, you shoot, OU basketball, men and women's, that's a good time.
Yeah, they've done great. I mean, yeah, the women did really well this year. We were hoping for the men to make the tournament, but sad. But
well, let's talk about current, because the main reason I wanted to have you on too is you achieved your first All-American status indoor.
Yes.
That had to be a little bit of icing on the cake considering your road that you've had. And then also too, what was that experience like? Because you're a high level thrower, but going into Boston and you got Ole Miss and some of the names out there of people throwing, you're like, oh my God, I'm one of the best 14 shot putters in the NCAA. I'm from Midland, Texas, and my freshman year I was a high jumper.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, well, so I'll just start with this. So originally, obviously, like for indoor, it's pretty cutthroat. It's the top 16 and like that's it.
Yeah.
And so going into conference, I was sitting at number 16. And so I knew that I probably needed a bigger mark to keep me safe on that top 16 list. And so, conference didn't really go the way I wanted it to. I ended up throwing like 1680, which was okay. But Crystal Herpin jumped me at that meet and she had a huge throw. It was like 17 mid or a little less than 17 mid. And so I was like, well, she just kicked me out of nationals. Like it was hard. And so I was like, because I knew going into that meet that I probably needed a bigger throw just to keep me safe. And so just knowing that I was so close, like, and I wasn't going to make it was so heartbreaking, because I was checking all the other meets and all the other conferences. And after all the other conferences had thrown, I was right at number 17. So I was like one spot away. And I was like, oh no, like even if I was number 18, like that would be different, but 17 is just so hard. And so I was kind of just transitioning, getting ready to go into outdoor. And so that next week, we were outside and we were throwing, and like Thursday, my coach got a call that someone like had dropped out. And so I got a spot in and I was like, okay, like, let's go. I wasn't expecting it.
Wow, really? Yeah. That's the story.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was originally not in, but someone ended up dropping out. And so I got in by the grace of God. And so I was just so thankful and just super excited. And so yeah, going into that meet, I was like, well, honestly, like no one expects me to even be here. So I'm just going to go out here and have fun and do the best I can. And so I was just super excited for the opportunity just to even be at a, NCAA national championship meet, because that in itself is awesome. And especially I feel like for indoor, it's super hard to make that top 16.
Yeah.
And so I was just super thankful for the opportunity. But yeah, like being at the meet and warm-ups, I was just looking around like, wow, these are the best of the best. Like I'm sitting next to like Jelani Davis and, like Maya Lesnar, the national champion,
Yeah.
just all these girls who I'm like, wow, like I'm on the same level as them. And maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they're a few steps ahead of me, but I'm like, I'm in the mix now. And so I think it was just such a big confidence boost for me just to know that I'm right there. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it was just such a cool experience just to be able to get out there. I wanted to, make that first team and make finals. I didn't throw what I wanted to, and it was kind of hard because I knew that if I threw what I had been throwing kind of through that indoor season, I could have made finals. So that was kind of hard, but it was just, I learned a lot about my mentality and just different things from that meet. And so I was just super thankful for the experience and for the opportunity, honestly. But yeah, it was just really, really cool. So yeah.
So did you get a medal? What do y'all get for second team?
Did we get anything? I don't know. I didn't get anything. I don't think.
Y'all get a medal like certificate or something, I thought.
Yeah, well, they give us all these like boxes from
Okay.
the NCAA, and it's really cool. It has like a Yeti cup engraved with like indoor national championship,
Oh,
and like
wow,
a
okay.
massage ball and a hat and a there is a little like medal kind of thing,
Okay.
just like for everyone. So,
Okay.
but not anything as cool as like the NCAA, cool looking first team ones. That's what I was trying to get, but it just didn't happen that way. But it was
Yeah.
okay.
When
So.
you approach the big meet like that, because some people get real excited and they rush everything and
Mm.
they pull off the shot put. Kind of what do you do to kind of calm your nerves down to kind of be in the moment?
Mhm. So I think like before a meet, I'll definitely take the time to like read my Bible and kind of just like meditate and just sit, because um I I don't know. I get pretty nervous, like honestly. I think everyone does a little bit. And so I think that just works for me, like listening to worship music and kind of just like calming my mind. But then whenever I'm at the meet, I learned kind of this year, I've kind of been learning throughout the year that I do my best when I'm kind of like hyping myself up and I'm like, okay, like let's go, let's go. Because in the past, like last year, I kind of had a rough year, and it was because I was kind of trying to figure out how to manage my nerves. And I was like, okay, let's be really quiet and let's be serious and let's like not talk to anyone. But that just did not work for me. Like it made me even more nervous and it affected my performance. And so I think that, yeah, before a meet, I'll really just calm myself, read my Bible, kind of meditate. And then when I'm in a meet, just like hype myself up and just have fun and like talk to people around me, and just because that's just who I am. And like at practice too, I don't like to be serious. I like to kind of have fun and joke around and keep it light, because like I said, when you're not having fun, it kind of makes it serious and you don't do well. At least for me personally, I don't do as well when I'm being super serious. And so I think, yeah, when I'm just having fun and talking to people and enjoying it is when I do best. So.
Yeah. So I'm getting, we talked a little bit earlier about you said in high school maybe your technique was kind of hitting pieces and maybe not the best movie. You were just trying to get your hips through.
Mm-hmm.
Now talk about currently, because I will admit I love your technique. I love how you get around the left side. I love how you pick up the right foot. I love your entry. Kind of talk to us about kind of how things have changed with the new coach and kind of what y'all are working on.
Yeah, so there's a few pieces that Nino has that are like he wants to be kind of uniform for all of his throwers. Like he wants to be able to, like look at an OU thrower and kind of be able to pick out like these are the certain things that should be the same for everyone. So there's those foundational pieces, but I think for me what we've learned is just kind of like the speed aspect and the movement, because I feel like I do better. I'm more of a speed thrower. Like I said earlier, I'm not super, super strong. And so he's really been able to work with me a lot on just generating speed in different parts of the throw. And so whether that's like, just getting off the back sooner or just, I don't know. It's little cues that he gives me that really works for me, but it's just really prioritizing my speed and my movement, because when I'm not doing that, then everything just kind of falls apart. So really for me, it's like the speed aspect.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, with that being said, is there a certain thing as too fast?
Honestly, not really. Like,
Okay.
I mean, if I was just thinking about, so at indoor nationals, it was kind of crazy because the ring that they had there was some kind of like, I'm sure y'all know, and I've
Yeah, it was
like,
a wooden, looked like they got it from a rec center.
yeah, well, it wasn't even wood. It was like this like slick kind of weird material. And so everyone was kind of having some issues with it. And especially those bigger guys, like they have a lot of weight that they like,
Yeah.
like that's gonna make them, it's gonna be slick for them.
Yeah.
But for me, like, since I don't know, there's not really like a limit on my speed necessarily. Like
Gotcha.
the faster I move, the more efficient my throw is. And so I think the better I move in that way, then the better it sets it up, at the front and through the finish. And so it's when I'm not doing that things kind of fall apart. So
Wow, interesting. And that even carries over to your discus moving as well.
yes, definitely. I think, yeah, there's been some pieces, especially this year, that we've noticed, and it's like, okay, maybe you aren't like, maybe the technique isn't necessarily like super, super great, but if you have the speed and if you're getting down and you're getting through the throw, then like it's still gonna go a decent amount of distance. So,
Yeah.
but if it's the other way around and say like my technique is super great, but the speed aspect is lacking, it's still gonna go somewhere, but it probably won't go as far as if I had that speed aspect.
So when you threw the 57.06 at AP Ranch, you were fast.
Yeah, I was fast. And I was just loose because that meet, it was kind of crazy because it was the week after nationals. And so I didn't throw shot put that weekend. We were kind of just, he was like, well, let's just get out there. Let's have fun. Let's go throw some discus. We're in outdoor season now. And so I was like, okay, like, let's just go have some fun. And discus was always like my first love. So I was like, yeah, let's go throw some disc. But I wasn't necessarily expecting a huge distance that weekend. I kind of just wanted to get out there and execute technique, execute the things that we'd been working on. But usually when that happens, you get a good distance as well. And so, yeah, we just got out there and 57. So
Wow, that's huge. And did that qualify you for some bigger meets maybe? As far as
I think there's a meet at the Ramona town, or the Ramona meet here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yes.
Ramona.
Yes. I think that there's like the qualifying mark for that meet is like a 55. And so I think some elite throwers are going.
Yeah.
So I might try to throw. Yes, I might try to throw at one of the meets there. There's one next weekend, but we also have a home meet. And so we've kind of talked about maybe doing like some of the home meet, maybe some of that meet, but I don't really know what that looks like for sure yet.
But would maybe the trials? Would you do the trials? Maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's always been a dream of mine. Whose isn't it like a dream to do the trials and to gain that experience too. So I think if I had the opportunity, I think I'd definitely take it just to be there and be around those elite throwers as well. And it was cool, even just at Texas Relays this past weekend, just getting to compete against Valerie Allman. She was there throwing too. And so I'd never even really seen her throw in person, but before then, so that was really cool.
So you were in that A section?
Yeah, I was. I did not throw well, but that's okay. The wind was hard. It was a tough wind, but
we had one of our alumni throwing in that section as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Mackenzie Davis.
Oh, yes, that's right. She's at Tech, right?
Yeah.
She's a stud.
Yeah. When I called her like on Monday or Tuesday, she had no idea that she was in the section. I was like, you gonna talk shit to her? Come on, talk shit to Valerie. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're in the same section. And she got quiet. She goes, I didn't know that I was in the same section.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, just what amazing. So after you graduate, what are you getting your degree in?
Health and exercise science.
Okay. What's the plan?
So I'm thinking of I want to do PT, physical therapy. So I'm thinking of applying to PT school. I'm graduating this spring, but I have another year of eligibility for track. So I'm planning on using that. So I'll probably do like some sort of accelerated master's program or something like that, and then apply to PT school next year, and then hopefully get in somewhere and then pursue that. So
Awesome.
Do
Awesome.
you have to pursue your throwing career after college?
yeah, I kind of just recently was thinking about that. I don't really know, honestly, how that looks. I guess it's just kind of we'll see how this year goes and the next year and then kind of reassess from there. But it's kind of cool because I think once you hit certain numbers, it just gives you way more confidence. It's like, okay, like I'm up there and I can, if this is something that I want to take seriously, like I can, sky's the limit, honestly.
Yeah.
So because we were even looking, my coach and I, at like Valerie Allman and her like just collegiate career, and because I don't even know if she was right around 60 in college, and so like that's, I mean, 60 meters in discus is definitely something I want to try to break like this year or next. But just, I mean, looking at her now, it's like, wow, if that's something that's in reach, then maybe that's something I could definitely pursue. So it's kind of just see how this year goes, see how next year goes, and then just kind of go from there. So.
Yeah. Now I have to. Are you out of the U20 realm to make like U20? Are you okay?
Yes. I'm 22 right now.
Okay.
So I'm way past that.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah.
I was like, I was just making sure. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, from that sim. So PT school, finish the year 60 meters. What's the goal in shot put?
Oh, shot put would be 18.
18.
Yeah. That's a big goal, but I'm gonna shoot high, and yeah.
Gotcha.
18 in shot, 60 in disc. So
Gotcha. What's the school record at OU in shot put?
oh, I just looked it up the other day. I think it's 18 high or 19 low.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I think Tia Brooks has it.
Oh yeah.
So but then I think Jess Woodard has the discus school record. It's like 58. So hopefully I can get that.
Have you ever looked through the history of the record books and looked through all the great throwers that came through OU and even also great coaches?
Honestly, not really. I don't know. That sounds so bad. I definitely need to.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, no, not really.
Gotcha. Now, are you head of the FCA for all OU athletics? What's your role with FCA at OU?
Yeah, so I'm part of the lead team. So there's like a group of us from there's a few people from each team that are on the leadership team who just lead and all that. So I'm on the leadership team, but there's a couple more girls on the track team and just different people from different sports. But.
Gotcha. So for someone who's not familiar with what FCA is, kind of what is the role of that leadership team among the athletes? Do y'all like meet once a week? Is it on Sunday mornings?
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
So we meet every Tuesday night at 6:45, and we'll, usually what we do is we'll kind of play a little icebreaker game, and we'll have a speaker come in, and they'll give us a little message. And then we will usually break up into our small groups, which we call huddles. And like all the leaders will have their own group, and we'll have two questions usually, and we'll just discuss, and we'll usually just facilitate and just kind of lead people in the right direction and kind of do our best to, give people like spiritual advice and wisdom and kind of stuff like that. But outside of just FCA, the meetings itself, on our teams, we try to also facilitate like spiritual like conversations with teammates and just encouragement. And we recently started a Bible study with our team as well, and so that's been really cool. And I think it's been really cool just to see the growth in our team in that aspect, because even like at conference we had a little Bible study before we competed, but it really just it gives people peace of mind. It's helpful, and it really just like I was saying earlier, it takes the pressure off, and it makes people just appreciate where they're at and just gives everyone a good headspace going into the competition. And so it's been really cool to see the growth that our team has had. And just, I feel like OU has such a strong, like, underlying tones of like Christianity and faith. I mean, if you've ever seen the interviews that the softball team has done after winning their national championship, like, they fully like glorify the Lord in that. And so that's really cool to see. But I think that it's really growing across all the sports, and it's just really cool because OU isn't a Christian necessarily university, it's a public university. And so but I just think that it's really cool, and FCA has definitely been a huge part of my life in high school and in college, and I met some of my best friends through FCA and just been able to, you know, see the growth that our team has had because of that. So,
And you get,
Awesome.
and I guess too, that'd be a way to like maybe mingle with football players y'all don't necessarily have to see, or maybe some of the golfers that y'all don't necessarily have time to watch or something like that.
Yes.
So it brings kind of all athletics together.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Really, the only athletes I know outside of the track team are people who I've met through FCA. And so, but these are like, I mean, these are elite athletes. Like, our gymnastics team is like however many time national champions, and like, you know, the football guys are up there, and it's just really, it's really cool because it's like these people are elite athletes, but they're also your peers, and they're also people you know, see in class and walk by on campus. And so it's a really cool way to build relationships. And it's actually cool because my roommates I have now are actually all rowers who I met through FCA. And so it's kind of rare, like you won't really see a non-track person living with just rowers, but that's kind of how it worked out for me. But I was fortunate enough to meet them through FCA. So
Oh wow! So y'all sit around and talk about rowing all the time?
yeah, pretty much.
Have you gone out to row with him yet?
No, I haven't, but I honestly really want
Throw it,
to.
muscles.
Yeah. Have you? If you haven't seen the movie Boys in the Boat, have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's a really good movie about rowing and a collegiate team. Go check it out. It'll make
Okay.
it's a tearjerker at the end, but it's pretty good.
Oh,
Hey, one final question, and I should have asked it earlier, but this dawned on me. You're going to the SEC next year.
we are. Yep.
Yes. So, do we need to start praying now?
Yes. Yes. As soon as you can start praying, please do.
So, okay, so that's huge.
Yes.
So, are you excited about it? What are you looking forward to? You know, there's some dynamics of changing in NCAA conferences and stuff.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I mean, I've been in the Big 12 my past 4 years, and so I think that getting to end my last year in the SEC is something really cool. And I think that, you know, we have competition in the Big 12, but I think that the SEC is definitely a step up. And, you know, I was talking to Cassidy, my other teammate, about the SEC because she actually transferred from Alabama. So she was in the SEC, came to the Big 12, and now going to go back to the SEC. So she's experienced that before, but she was basically saying, you know, like, if you can win the SEC, you can win a national championship. And so I think that being around those caliber athletes, those caliber throwers will really just set me up for success as going into my last year. And, you know, I have these goals that I want to achieve. And I think that that's being around those type of throwers is what I need to be around in order to achieve those kind of goals. And so I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be hard, but it'll be good. I feel like you gotta throw against the best to be the best. So yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Success breeds success when you know that motivating of doing that extra stuff.
Yeah.
So, well, what amazing! You are truly amazing. I've always watched you from afar, and no disrespect when I say this, to see you grown from that little high school girl to now this grown woman,
Yeah.
you know, who's got a great head on her shoulders, and she has a plan, and you know what you want to do. I just wish you all the success, and it warmed my heart to see you, because I watched that entire indoor championship online, and to see you out there throwing, you know, part of my brain went back to like, I remember when she was, you know, such and such and such, and you know, you had the knee brace on and all the other stuff, and like you're doing it, girl. You're doing it. So just keep doing it, and sky's the limit, and you know, go kick some tail. Sure.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much. And I just want to say, like, thank y'all for just the dedication and support that y'all have shown, like, to just the throws community, and like in Texas and just everywhere. I feel like y'all have just been such a big part of growing that. And so, and I notice it, like I know other coaches and athletes notice it too. And so I just have so much respect for y'all, and I really just appreciate everything that y'all have done and are doing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, tell Coach I said hello, okay? And
I will.
I look forward to seeing y'all. We'll hopefully see some meets soon. Good luck to you. God bless you. Well, good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good talking to y'all. Bye.
We'd like to thank Paige for being on. Just what a true inspirational story that she has as far as her throwing story goes. Just to overcome some adversity her senior year, but just kind of delve into the Word of God to get that perseverance and guidance and direction to get her through her freshman and sophomore year. And she just embodies that, as you can tell coming through the screen, going through into college and doing what she did. And I think it's kind of not satisfaction, what the word I'm looking for? You're not that. I'm sure it was refreshing for her, rewarding. That's the word I was looking for. It was rewarding for her, to make that her first All-American team, so to speak, being second team this year for indoor. And I just think really the sky's the limit for throwing for her for this year and for next year. And then I'm
beyond, if she wants
yeah, I'm beyond. And we're just, just grateful that she's on. And probably one of the best high school throwers to come out of the state of Texas for sure. And what her high school coach did, and just working and grinding. A lot of kids nowadays don't really have that work ethic to kind of put forth the effort to get the results. And they were kind of a good team to be able to get those results. So thank y'all.
We want to thank our sponsors for, we still in season 7?
Yes.
Season 7, Texas Track and Field Coach Association. Go to ttfca.org for everything going on. District meets just finished, so you can look to see what kids are moving on to area, what those throws are like, and who's got a chance to make it to state in May. So all the things track and field in Texas, I would assume most districts are done by the time you're listening to this podcast on Sunday, so you can see who's moving on. Fourthrows.com, quality implements priced right. Go to Fourth Rows and use the code TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off. Training tools will say your season didn't end like you wanted it to and you're ready to get going in the summer. Go get you some implements and get to work. If you're in the Austin area, Ready Up AD, go to Ready Up Athletic Development. Contact Zach Phillips at 512-507-8347 or follow him on readyupad.com or on Instagram or Facebook. He also has a great program called Basic Growth Strength, which is on the Train Heroic website. Find that program and use the code THROWS10 and that will get you 20% off. Just got all sorts of great stuff for throwers in there. NTX Timing, let Carl Hornback and his crew manage your meet data from start to finish. Take advantage of their relationship with MileSplit for free online registration and live results, which we know is huge at meets. They can seed, report, generate time, live results, put it all back on the internet, all those things. It'd be the easiest track meet you ever run. So if you're looking for next year, since now we're already in area and things like that, get him on your schedule. Let him do the work while you coach your athletes. I want to shout out to Big Frogs at Colleyville, handles all our printing and embroidery needs. Go check them out at Colleyville at bigfrogs.com. And then
Hello, Talking Throws Texas podcasters. I'm Bruce Caldwell. I'm here today to introduce the FiberSport Discus. Yes, many of you thought I only made great vaulting poles. I have been bringing quality discuses to the throwers' hands for over 40 years. First as Cantabrian USA representative, then for the past 10 years as the Nelco Discus distributor. I introduced the yellow-plated discus for the plastic's best durability. If your FiberSport discus breaks, we replace it. Our studies have reached into the science of using a wind tunnel and adding microchips to the discus to find the spin, the gravity, the flight stability of the discus. We have found it's not about rim weight anymore. It's more about creating a balanced stability to allow the discus to fly and surf the wind. Our new FiberSport discus is made to be selected to fit your needs, no matter the weather, no matter the conditions. Check out our discus selection guide at fibersportdiscus.com and find a dealer in your area that sells our fine product. Thank you, Jason and Janelle, for allowing me to talk with your listeners on Talk and Throws Texas Style.
And Lifting DFW, reach out to us. There's a link on our website, on the Throwing Factory website, for any information you need about lifting. And then go check out the Throwing Factory website. We've got all sorts of places. There's shopping shopping page, all sorts of things. You need to look for some lessons, want to do some summer track, or some lessons, reach out to us. And follow the podcast, like it, subscribe to it, go check out our YouTube channel, send us recommendations, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. Any ideas of guests that you have. So.
Thank y'all so much. We'll see you down the road.